One of the ways that I usually tell people to improve their prompting is to iterate. I don't usually talk about how to iterate though, and I think it's important, so I'm going to talk about it now. First of all, if you don't know what it means, iterating is just the process of repeating something. Each repetition is called an iteration, and usually the outcome of one iteration becomes a starting point for the next iteration. So with that, when you're prompting, you don't always get what you want, and that's just kind of how it goes. So if you go in expecting to have to iterate, have to try to put in more than one prompt or more than one style of prompt, then your chances for success just go up exponentially. So here are a couple of different ways. I think we have four different ways of how you can iterate. So first is to use different phrasing, and we're going to use Gemini for this, but it doesn't really matter. You can use ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or Llama, whatever you want. I'm just using Gemini because it's here. So the first thing is to use different phrasing. So what does that mean exactly? So let's say my prompt, again, we'll keep this simple. My prompt is how do I make beef Wellington? And let's take a second. Yeah, I'm probably not going to put in the rest of the prompts because this is just going to probably take too much time, but I'll let this one finish. Okay, here you go. So it's still generating, but the idea is just more, I put in a prompt and then I get something and I don't like this. Whatever about this, I don't like it. And instead of just like, this is terrible, I'm not using this model anymore, it's like, well, maybe if I use different phrasing, maybe I get something better. So I don't like that, so now I change it slightly and I suggest a recipe for beef Wellington. Now again, I'm not going to go through the actual generation of output because it'll probably just take too long. But let's say I put that in and then that comes back and I don't really like that either, but it's closer. So then it's like, okay, well, let me try it a little bit differently. What's a good beef Wellington recipe? And maybe that's it. I put that in, it's like, oh, perfect, and that's exactly how I wanted it. So just kind of expand this to whatever you're doing, and if you put in something and you don't get exactly what you want, think about how you can use different phrasing that is actually asking for the same thing, but it might generate slightly different output. Go to new chat, and so the second way that you can iterate is to switch to an analogous task. So put in a sample here, and this is which category does the Harry Potter series belong to? That can be the books or the movies. And that options here are fantasy, biography, nonfiction, or sports. Switch to the faster model here, and maybe we'll get output pretty fast. Okay, perfect. So I mean, this chose the right answer, but let's say it didn't. Let's say that this said, I don't know, sports. And it's like, no, it's not sports, but, or even, either way, like even if this is the answer that I wanted, but I didn't want all this. I didn't want all the explanation of why fantasy. I just wanted the answer. So what I could do is, again, switch to an analogous task. So if I just want the answer, I can just change it slightly, make it a multiple choice problem, and say, okay, multiple choice problem, which of the following categories describes the Harry Potter series of books? And then give it the same four options. And it's a much higher likelihood that it's just going to pick the right answer. I mean, this time it didn't, but, you know, again, you can, again, go back to this and kind of use the other strategy and use different phrasing. and put in the multiple choice problem and then put in just say the answer. But I think you get the point. Like this is, switch to an analogous task. So if you initially start with, just the broad question, which category does it belong to? And that doesn't really give you what you want. It's like, okay, maybe if I made it a multiple choice question. And again, it obviously doesn't always work perfectly, but then you can just think of a different task you can give it that would still have the same context that you care about and then give you the answer that you want. New chat. And let's see what we have here. Okay, so this is, this could be many, many different ways. So I'm just going to give you the idea of this one. Actually, I'm going to do this one on a whiteboard. Yeah, so let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, perfect. So this is to change the order of the prompt content. So there are a bunch of different elements of a prompt, persona and context and instructions, examples, tone, style, audience. There's a bunch of things. I'm just going to keep this simple and just have 3. We just have examples, context, and instruction. And let's say you put in whatever it is, and you start with the examples, and then you list the context, and then you do the instruction, and you don't get what you want. It's like, okay, so you can just walk away, or you can try a different version. And let's say this version, you flip the order of the content. So now you start with the instruction, then you do the examples, then you do the context. Well, how'd that work? Okay, well, that didn't really give you what you wanted either, so try a different version. So now do the examples first, but then do the instruction second, then do the context. How did that work? Again, etc. I think you get the idea, but it's just take the different elements that you have. And if you don't get the output that you want, then you can change the order of those elements. And again, really, this becomes really model specific, and I'm not going to get into all the details of all the models, and obviously they change them so much that I don't really know all the details for all of them, but changing this can be surprisingly useful in getting you better output. So just consider changing how you actually have the different pieces of content. And then get rid of this, get out of here. And then the fourth one is to draw a picture. So let's say you started with, what is a 5-pointed shape called? And, okay, so again, you're looking for a star. Let's say you started with, you're picturing a star and you asked for a 5-pointed shape, but it didn't say star. Let's say this just gave you a pentagram. Great. But let's say it just, that's not really what I wanted. So what you could do is, get all those out of here. You can actually draw a picture. And so let's, here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, that's not the best looking star in the world, but it'll get the job done. So now you draw a picture, and then you come in and you attach that picture. That did not work at all. Nope. Let's try that again. There it is. So now you copy the picture, and then now, instead of just the prompt you had before, now you have the picture plus the prompt. And the prompt is, what is this 5-pointed shape called? And again, maybe your picture will be better than this, but and again, it's like, okay, now it's like, that's a star. So again, it's a different strategy for if you don't get the output that you want from your prompt. It's like, well, is there a way you could draw a picture? And that could be something like this, and you have a digital whiteboard, or it could be you have a pen and paper and then you take a picture on your phone, or you can draw a picture on your phone. Lots of options to get a picture, but even take a picture. Like just use the camera on your phone and take a picture of it, and then upload the picture, and then do it that way. But this was 4 different ways that you could answer the question of how do you iterate. So just go back through them. You could use different phrasing. You could switch to an analogous task. You could change the order of your prompt content, or you could draw a picture. Hopefully that helps, and we'll see you next time.